Chapter 5, Part 2 of The Complete Book of Cheese. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Patty Cunningham. The Complete Book of Cheese by Robert Carlton Brown. Chapter 5, Part 2, 65 Sizzling Rabbits. Yale College Welsh Rabbit, Moriarty's. 1 jigger of beer, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon mustard, 1 1/2 cups grated or shaved cheese, more beer. Pour the jigger of beer into a low saucepan, dash on the seasonings, add the cheese, and stir unremittingly, moistening from time to time with more beer, a pony or two at a time. When creamy, pour over buttered toast, 2 slices for this amount, and serve with still more beer. There are 2 schools of postgraduate rabbit hunters. Yale as above, with beer both in the rabbit and with it, and the other featured in the Steiff recipe, which prefers leaving it out of the rabbit, but taps a keg to drink with it. The ancient age of Moriarty's Campus Classic is registered by the use of pioneer black pepper in place of white, which is often used today and is thought more sophisticated by some than the red cayenne of Rector's Naughty 90s chafing dish rabbit, which is precisely the same as our basic recipe number 1. Border hopping bunny, or frijoles rabbit. 1 1/2 tablespoons butter, 1 1/2 tablespoons chopped onion, 2 tablespoons chopped pepper, green or red, or both, 1 1/2 teaspoon chili powder, 1 small can kidney beans, drained, 1 1/2 tablespoons ketchup, 1/2 teaspoon Worcestershire, salt, 2 cups grated cheese. Cook onion and pepper lightly in butter with chili powder. Add kidney beans and seasonings, and stir in the cheese until melted. Serve this beanie bunny peppery hot on tortillas or crackers, toasted and buttered. In the whole hutch of kitchen rabbitry, the most popular modern ones are made with tomato, a little or lots. They hop in from everywhere, from Mexico to South Africa, and call for all kinds of quirks, down to mixing in some dried beef, and there is even a skimpy tomato rabbit for reducers, made with farmer cheese and skimmed milk. Although the quaintly named Rum Tum Tiddy was doubtless the great-grandpappy of all tomato rabbits, a richer, more buttery, and more eggy one has taken its place as the standard today. The following is a typical recipe for this, tried and true, since it has had a successful run through a score of the best modern cookbooks, with only slight personal changes to keep its juice a flowing blood red. Tomato rabbit. 2 tablespoons butter, 2 tablespoons flour, 3/4 cup thin cream or evaporated milk, 3/4 cup canned tomato pulp, rubbed through a sieve to remove seeds, a pinch of soda, 3 cups grated cheese, pinches of dry mustard, salt, and cayenne, 2 eggs lightly beaten. Blend flour in melted butter, add cream slowly, and when this white sauce is a little thick, stir in tomato sprinkled with soda. Keep stirring steadily while adding cheese and seasonings, and when cooked enough, stir in the eggs to make a creamy texture, smooth as silk. Serve on buttered whole wheat or graham bread for a change. Instead of soda, some antiquated recipes call for a tablespoon of bicarbonate of potash. South African tomato rabbit. This is the same as above, except that 1/2 teaspoon of sugar is used in place of the soda, and the rabbit is poured over baked pastry cut into squares, and sprinkled with parsley chopped fine, put in the oven, and served immediately. Rum Tum Tiddy, Rink Tum Diddy, etc. Old Boston style. 1 tablespoon butter, 1 onion minced, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 big pinch of pepper, 2 cups cooked tomatoes, 1 tablespoon sugar, 3 cups grated store cheese, 1 egg lightly beaten. Slowly fry onion bright golden in butter. Season and add tomatoes with sugar. Heat just under the bubbling point. Don't let it boil, but keep adding cheese and shaking the pan until it melts. Then stir in egg gently and serve very hot. Tomato Soup Rabbit. 1 can condensed tomato soup, 2 cups grated cheese, 1/4 teaspoon English mustard, 1 egg lightly beaten, salt and pepper. Heat soup, stir in cheese until melted, add mustard and egg slowly, season, and serve hot. This is a quickie Rum Tum Tiddy, without any onion, a poor, housebroken version of the original. It can be called Celery Rabbit if you use a can of celery soup in place of the tomato. Onion Rum Tum Tiddy. Prepare as in Rum Tum Tiddy, but use only 1 1/2 cups cooked tomatoes, and add 1/2 cup of mashed boiled onions. Sherry Rum Tum Tiddy. 1 tablespoon butter, 1 small onion minced, 1 small green pepper minced, 1 can tomato soup, 3/4 cup milk, 3 cups grated cheese, 1/2 teaspoon Worcestershire sauce, salt and pepper, 1 egg lightly beaten, 1 jigger sherry, crackers. Prepare as in Rum Tum Tiddy. Stir in the sherry last to retain its flavor. Crumble crackers into a hot tureen until it's about 1/3 full, and pour the hot Rum Tum Tiddy over them. Blushing Bunny. This is a sister under the skin to the old-fashioned Rum Tum Tiddy, except that her complexion is made a little rosier with a lot of paprika in place of plain pepper, and the paprika cooked in from the start, of course. Blushing Bunny is one of those playful English names for dishes, like Pink Poodle, Scotch Woodcock, given below, Bubble and Squeak, Bubble-em Squeak-em, and Toad in the Hole, Scotch Woodcock. Another variant of Rum Tum Tiddy. Make your Rum Tum Tiddy, but before finishing up with the beaten egg, stir in 2 heaping tablespoons of anchovy paste, and prepare the buttered toast by laying on slices of hard-cooked eggs. American Woodchuck. 1 1/2 cups tomato puree, 2 cups grated cheese, 1 egg lightly beaten, cayenne, 1 tablespoon brown sugar, salt and pepper. Heat the tomato and stir in the cheese. When partly melted, stir in the egg, and when almost cooked, add seasonings without ever interrupting the stirring. Pour over hot toasted crackers or bread. No doubt this all-American tomato rabbit with brown sugar was named after the native woodchuck, in playful imitation of the Scotch woodcock above. It's the only rabbit we know that's sweetened with brown sugar. Running Rabbit, as served at the Waldorf Astoria First Annual Cheeslers Field Day, November 12, 1937. Cut finest old American cheese in very small pieces and melt in saucepan with a little good beer. Season and add Worcestershire sauce. Serve instantly with freshly made toast. This running coney can be poured over toast like any other rabbit, or over crushed crackers in a hot tureen, as in Sherry Rum Tum Tiddy, or served like fondue in the original cooking bowl or pan, with the spoon kept moving in it in one direction only, and the rabbit following the spoon, like a greyhound following the stuffed rabbit at the dog races. Mexican Chilaly. 1 tablespoon butter, 3 tablespoons chopped green pepper, 1 1/2 tablespoons chopped onion, 1 cup chopped and drained canned tomatoes without seeds, 2 1/2 cups grated cheese, 3/4 teaspoon salt, dash of cayenne, 1 egg lightly beaten, 2 tablespoons canned tomato juice, watercress. Cook pepper and onion lightly in butter. Add tomato pulp and cook 5 minutes before putting over boiling water and stirring steadily as you add cheese and seasonings. Moisten the egg with the tomato juice and stir in until the rabbit is thick and velvety. Serve on toast and dress with watercress. This popular modern rabbit seems to be a twin to Rum Tum Tiddy in spite of the centuries' difference in age. Fluffy Eggy Rabbit. Stir up a chilaly as above, but use 2 well-beaten eggs to make it more fluffy and leave out the watercress. Serve it hot over cold slices of hard-cooked eggs crowded flat on hot buttered toast to make it extra eggy. Grilled Tomato Rabbit. Slice big red juicy tomatoes, 1/2 inch thick. Season with salt, pepper, and plenty of brown sugar. Dot both sides with all the butter that won't slip off. Heat in moderate oven, and when almost cooked, remove and broil on both sides. Put on hot plates in place of the usual toast, and pour the rabbit over them. The rabbit is made according to either basic recipe number 1 or number 2. Slices of crisp bacon on top of the tomato slices and a touch of horseradish help. Grilled tomato and onion rabbit. Slice 1/4 inch thick an equal number of tomato and onion rings. Season with salt, pepper, brown sugar and dots of butter. Heat in moderate oven, and when almost cooked, remove and broil lightly. On hot plates lay first the onion rings, top with the tomato ones, and pour the rabbit over, as in the plain grilled tomato recipe above. For another onion flavored rabbit, see Celery and Onion Rabbit. The Devil's Own, a fresh tomato variant. 2 tablespoons butter, 1 large peeled tomato in 4 thick slices, 2 1/2 cups grated cheese, 1/4 teaspoon English mustard, a pinch of cayenne, a dash of Tabasco sauce, 2 tablespoons chili sauce, 1/2 cup ale or beer, 1 egg, lightly beaten. Sauté tomato slices lightly on both sides in 1 tablespoon butter. Keep warm on hot platter while you make the toast and a basic rabbit pepped up by the extra hot seasonings listed above. Put hot tomato slices on hot toast on hot plates. Pour the hot mixture over. Dried beef or chipped beef rabbit. 1 tablespoon butter, 1 cup canned tomato, drained, chopped and deseeded, 1/4 pound dried beef, shredded, 2 eggs, lightly beaten, 1/4 teaspoon pepper, 2 cups grated cheese. Heat tomato in butter, add beef and eggs, stir until mixed well, then sprinkle with pepper, stir in the grated cheese until smooth and creamy, serve on toast. No salt is needed on this jerked steer meat that is called both dried beef and chipped beef on this side of the border, tasajo on the other side, and zarque when you get all the way down to Brazil. Kansas Jack Rabbit. 1 cup milk, 3 tablespoons butter, 3 tablespoons flour, 2 cups grated cheese, 1 cup cream-style corn, salt and pepper. Make a white sauce of milk, butter, and flour, and stir in cheese steadily and gradually until melted. Add corn and season to taste. Serve on hot buttered toast. Kansas has plenty of the makings for this, yet the dish must have been easier to make on Baron Munchausen's island of cheese, where the cornstalks produce loaves of bread, ready-made, instead of ears, and were no doubt crossed with long-eared jacks to produce corn rabbits quite as miraculous. After tomatoes in popularity, come onions and then green peppers or canned pimientos as vegetable ingredients in modern Americanized rabbits. And after that corn, as in the following recipe, which appeals to all Latin Americans from Mexico to Chile because it has everything. Latin American Corn Rabbit. 2 tablespoons butter, 1 green pepper chopped, 1 large onion chopped, 1/2 cup condensed tomato soup, 3 cups grated cheese, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon Worcestershire sauce, 1 cup canned corn, 1 egg lightly beaten. Fry pepper and onion 5 minutes in butter. Add soup. Cover and cook 5 minutes more. Pour over boiling water. Add cheese with seasonings and stir steadily, slowly adding the corn, and when thoroughly blended and creamy, moisten the egg with a little of the liquid, stir in until thickened, and then pour over hot toast or crackers. Mushroom Tomato Rabbit. In one pan commence frying in butter 1 cup of sliced fresh mushrooms, and in another make a rabbit by melting over boiling water 2 cups of grated cheese with 1/2 teaspoon salt and 1/2 teaspoon paprika. Stir steadily, and when partially melted, stir in a can of condensed tomato soup previously heated. Then add the fried mushrooms slowly, stir until creamy, and pour over hot toast or crackers. Celery and Onion Rabbit. 1/2 cup chopped hearts of celery, 1 small onion chopped, 1 tablespoon butter, 1 1/2 cups grated sharp cheese, salt and pepper. In a separate pan boil celery and onion until tender. Meanwhile, melt cheese with butter and seasonings and stir steadily. When nearly done, stir the celery and onion in gradually until smooth and creamy. Pour over buttered toast and brown with a salamander or under the grill. Asparagus Rabbit. Make as above, substituting a cupful of tender sliced asparagus tops for the celery and onions. Oyster Rabbit. 2 dozen oysters and their liquor, 1 teaspoon butter, 2 eggs lightly beaten, 1 large pinch of salt, 1 small pinch of cayenne, 3 cups grated cheese. Heat oysters until edges curl and put aside to keep warm while you proceed to stir up a Rabbit. When cheese is melted, add the eggs with some of the oyster liquor and keep stirring. When the Rabbit has thickened to a smooth cream, drop in the warm oysters to heat a little more, and serve on hot buttered toast. Seafood Rabbits: crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, clams, mussels, abalone, squid, octopi, anything that swims in the sea or crawls on the bottom of the ocean. Shred, flake, or mince a cupful of any freshly cooked or canned seafood and save some of the liquor if any. Make according to Oyster Rabbit recipe above. Instead of using only one kind of seafood, try several, mixed according to taste. Spike this succulent sea rabbit with horseradish or a dollop of sherry for a change. Bouquet of the Sea Rabbit. The seafaring Portuguese set the style for this lush bouquet of as many different kinds of cooked fish, tuna, cod, salmon, etc., as can be sardined together in the whirlpool of melted cheese in the chafing dish. They also accent it with tidbits of seafood as above. Other fish rabbit, fresh or dried. Any cooked fresh fish, flaked and shredded, from the alewife to the whale, or cooked dried herring, finnan haddie, mackerel, cod, and so on, can be stirred in to make a basic rabbit more tasty. Happy combinations are hit upon in mixing leftovers of several kinds by the cupful. So the odd old cookbook direction, add a cup of fish, takes on new meaning. Grilled Sardine Rabbit. Make a basic rabbit and pour it over sardines, skinned, boned, halved, and grilled, on buttered toast. Similarly, cooked fillets of any small fish will make as succulent a grilled rabbit. Roe Rabbits. Sliced cooked roe of shad, or toothsome eggs of other fish, grill on toast, butter well, and pour a basic rabbit over. Although shad roe is esteemed the finest, there are many other sapid ones of salmon, herring, flounder, cod, etc. Plain Sardine Rabbit. Make basic rabbit with only 2 cups of cheese, and in place of the egg yolks and beer, stir in a large tin of sardines, skinned, boned, and flaked. Anchovy Rabbit. Make basic rabbit. Add 1 tablespoon of imported East Indian chutney with the egg yolks and beer at the finish. Spread toast thickly with anchovy paste and butter, and pour the rabbit over. Smoked sturgeon, whiting, eel, smoked salmon, and the like. Lay cold slices or flakes of any fine smoked fish, and all of them are fine, on hot buttered toast, and pour a basic rabbit over the fish. The best combination we ever tasted is made by laying a thin slice of smoked salmon over a thick one of smoked sturgeon. Smoked Cheddar Rabbit. With or without smoked fish, rabbit hunters whose palates crave the savor of a wisp of smoke, go for the basic rabbit made with smoked cheddar in place of the usual aged but unsmoked cheddar. We use a 2-year-old that Phil Alpert, Mr. Cheese himself, brings down from Canada, and has specially smoked in the same savory room where sturgeon is getting the works. So his cheddar absorbs the deluxe flavor of $6 per pound sturgeon and is sold for a fraction of that. And just in case you are fishing around for something extra special, serve this smoky rabbit on oven-browned Bombay ducks, those crunchy flat toasts of East Indian fish. Or go Oriental by accompanying this with cups of smoky Lapsang Souchong China tea. Crumby Rabbit. 1 tablespoon butter, 2 cups grated cheese, 1 cup stale breadcrumbs soaked with 1 cup milk, 1 egg lightly beaten, salt, cayenne, toasted crackers. Melt cheese in butter. Stir in the soaked crumbs and seasonings. When cooked smooth and creamy, stir in the egg to thicken the mixture, and serve on toasted crackers, dry or buttered, for contrast with the bread. Some rabbiteers monkey with this, lacing it with half a cup of ketchup, making a sort of pink baboon out of what should be a white monkey. There is a cult for crumby rabbits, variations on which extend all the way to a deep casserole dish called baked rabbit, and consisting of alternate layers of stale breadcrumbs and grated cheese crumbs. This illegitimate 3-layer rabbit is moistened with eggs beaten up with milk, and seasoned with salt and paprika. Crumby Tomato Rabbit. 2 teaspoons butter, 2 cups grated cheese, 1/2 cup soft breadcrumbs, 1 cup tomato soup, salt and pepper, 1 egg lightly beaten. Melt cheese in butter, Moisten breadcrumbs with the tomato soup and stir in, season, add egg, and keep stirring until velvety. Serve on toasted crackers as a contrast to the breadcrumbs. Gherkin or Irish Rabbit. 2 tablespoons butter, 2 cups grated cheese, 1/2 cup milk or beer, a dash of vinegar, 1/2 teaspoon mustard, salt and pepper, 1/2 cup chopped gherkin pickles. Melt cheese and butter. Steadily stir in liquid and seasonings. Keep stirring until smooth, then add the pickles and serve. This may have been called Irish after the green of the pickle. Dutch Rabbit. Melt thin slices of any good cooking cheese in a heavy skillet with a little butter, prepared mustard, and a splash of beer. Have ready some slices of toast soaked in hot beer or ale, and pour the rabbit over them. The temperance version of this substitutes milk for beer, and delicately soaks the toast in hot water instead. Proof that there is no Anglo-Saxon influence here lies in the use of prepared mustard. The English, who still do a lot of things the hard way, mix their biting dry mustard fresh with water before every meal, while the Germans and French bottle theirs, as we do. Pumpernickel Rabbit. This German derivation is made exactly the same as the Dutch Rabbit above, but its ingredients are the opposite in color. Black bread, pumpernickel, slices are soaked in heated dark beer, porter or stout, and the yellow cheese melted in the skillet is also stirred up with brunette beer. Since beer is a kind of liquid bread, it is natural for the two to commingle in rabbits whether they are blonde Dutch or black pumpernickel. And since cheese is only solid milk, and the cheddar is noted for its beery smell, there is further affinity here. An old English proverb sums it up neatly: bread and cheese are the two targets against death. By the way, the word pumpernickel is said to have been coined when Napoleon tasted his first black bread in Germany. Contemptuously, he spat it out with, "This would be good for my horse Nicole, bon pour Nicole," in French. Gruyère Welsh Rabbit au gratin. Cut crusts from half a dozen slices of bread. Toast them lightly, lay in a roasting pan, and top each with a matching slice of imported Gruyère 3/8 inch thick. Pepper to taste, and cover with breadcrumbs. Put in oven 10 minutes, and rush to the ultimate consumer. To our American ears, anything au gratin suggests with cheese, so this rabbit au gratin may sound redundant. To a Frenchman, however, it means a dish covered with breadcrumbs. Swiss Cheese Rabbit. 1/2 cup white wine, preferably Neufchâtel. 1/2 cup grated Gruyère. 1 teaspoon Worcestershire sauce. 1/2 saltspoon paprika. 2 egg yolks. Stir wine and seasonings together with cheese until it melts. Then thicken with the egg yolks, stirring at least 3 more minutes until smooth. Sherry Rabbit. 3 cups grated cheese, 1/2 cup cream or evaporated milk, 1/2 cup sherry, 1/4 teaspoon English mustard, 1/2 teaspoon Worcestershire sauce, a dash of paprika. Heat cheese over hot water, with or without a bit of butter, and when it begins to melt, stir in the cream. Keep stirring until almost all of the cheese is melted, then add sherry. When smooth and creamy, stir in the mustard and Worcestershire sauce, and after pouring over buttered toast, dash with paprika for color. Spanish Sherry Rabbit. 3 tablespoons butter, 3 tablespoons flour, 1 bouillon cube mashed, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon dry mustard, 1 1/2 cups milk, 1 1/2 cups grated cheese, 1 jigger sherry. Make a smooth paste of butter, flour, bouillon cube, and seasonings, and add milk slowly. When well heated, stir in the cheese gradually. Continue stirring at least 10 minutes, and when well blended, stir in the sherry and serve on hot buttered toast. Pink Poodle. 2 tablespoons butter, 1 tablespoon chopped onion, 1 tablespoon flour, 1 jigger California claret, 1 cup cream of tomato soup, a pinch of soda, 1/2 teaspoon dry mustard, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon paprika, a dash of powdered cloves, 3 cups grated cheese, 1 egg lightly beaten. Cook onion in butter until light golden, then blend in flour, wine, and soup with the soda and all seasonings. Stir in cheese slowly until melted, and finish off by thickening with the egg and stirring until smooth and velvety. Serve on crisp, buttered toast with dry red wine. Although wine rabbits, red or white, are as unusual as Swiss ones with Gruyere in place of Cheddar, wine is commonly drunk with anything from a golden buck to a blushing bunny. But for most of us a deep draught of beer or ale goes best with an even deeper draught of the mellow scent of a Cheddar golden yellow. Savory, eggy, dry rabbit. 1/8 pound butter. 2 cups grated Gruyere. 4 eggs well beaten. Salt, pepper, mustard. Melt butter and cheese together with the beaten eggs, stirring steadily with wooden spoon until soft and smooth. Season and pour over dry toast. This dry rabbit, in which the volume of eggs makes up for any lacking liquid, is still served as a savory after the sweets to finish a fine meal in some old-fashioned English homes and hostelries. Cream cheese rabbit. This rabbit, made with a package of cream cheese, is more scrambled hen fruit than rabbit food, for you simply scramble a half dozen eggs with buttermilk, salt, pepper, and cayenne, and just before the finish, work in the cheese until smooth and serve on crackers. Water crackers for a change. Reducing rarebit. Tomato rarebit. Footnote A. From the Low-Calorie Cookbook by Bernard Coton, published by Random House. End footnote. Yield 2 servings, 235 calories per serving. 1/2 pound farmer cheese, 2 eggs, 1 level tablespoon powdered milk, 1 level tablespoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon gelatin or agar powder, 4 egg tomatoes quartered or 2 tomatoes quartered, 1 teaspoon caraway seeds, 1/4 teaspoon garlic powder, 1 teaspoon parsley flakes, 1/2 head lettuce and or 1 cucumber, 1/4 cup wine vinegar, salt and pepper to taste. Fill bottom of double boiler with water to 3/4 mark. Sprinkle salt in upper part of double boiler. Boil over medium flame. When upper part is hot, put in cheese, powdered milk, baking powder, gelatin, caraway seeds, and pepper and garlic powder to taste. Mix. Break eggs into this mixture. Cook over low flame, continually stirring. Add tomatoes when mixture bubbles and continue cooking and stirring until tomatoes have been cooked soft. Remove to lettuce and or cucumber, sliced thin, which has been slightly marinated in wine vinegar, and sprinkle the parsley flakes over the top of the mixture. Curry rabbit. 1 tablespoon cornstarch, 2 cups milk, 2 1/2 cups grated cheese, 1 tablespoon minced chives, 2 green onions minced, 2 shallots minced, 1/4 teaspoon imported curry powder, 1 tablespoon chutney sauce. Dissolve cornstarch in a little of the milk and scald the rest over hot water. Thicken with cornstarch mixture and stir in the cheese, chives, onions, shallots, curry, and chutney, while wooden spooning steadily until smooth and sizzling enough to pour over buttered toast. People who can't let well enough alone put cornstarch in rabbits, just as they add soda to spoil the cooking of vegetables. Ginger ale rabbit. Simply substitute ginger ale for the real thing in the #1 rabbit of all time. Buttermilk rabbit. Substitute buttermilk for plain milk in the #2 rabbit. To be consistent, use fresh cured buttermilk cheese instead of the usual cheddar of fresh cow's milk. This is milder. Eggnog rabbit. 2 tablespoons sweet butter, 2 cups grated mellow cheddar, 1 1/3 cups eggnog, dashes of spice to taste. After melting the cheese in butter, stir in the eggnog and keep stirring until smooth and thickened. Season or not, depending on taste and the quality of the eggnog employed. Ever since the innovation of bottled eggnogs fresh from the milkman in holiday season, such supremely creamy and flavorful rabbits have been multiplying as fast as guinea pigs. All-American Succotash Rabbit. 1 cup milk, 3 tablespoons butter, 3 tablespoons flour, 3 cups grated cheese, 1 cup creamed succotash, strained, salt and pepper. Make a white sauce of milk, butter, and flour, and stir in the cheese steadily and gradually until melted. Add the cream succotash and season to taste. Serve on toasted buttered cornbread. Danish rabbit. 1 quart warm milk, 2 cups grated cheese. Stir together to boiling point and pour over piping hot toast in heated bowl. This is an esteemed breakfast dish in North Denmark. As in all Rabbits, more or less cheese may be used to taste. Easy English Rabbit. Soak bread slices in hot beer. Melt thin slices of cheese with butter in iron frying pan. Stir in a few spoonfuls of beer and a bit of prepared mustard. When smoothly melted, pour over the piping hot beer-soaked toast. End of Chapter 5, Part 2. Recording by Patty Cunningham.